Hi, friends. This is James and Cara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends.
Thank you for joining Kerouacs Cruising. This is James and Cara.
We are snuggled in. It's strange because we did not think we were going to get a lot of snow. James does a
Dusting,
pretty good
it
job.
said.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job of keeping an eye on the weather. And it seemed like the night before, it switched to 1 to 3 inches, and we woke up this morning to 6 inches. And it looks like we're about to get another round here in a little bit. The clouds are starting to really move in. So
We're saying another few inches tonight.
Yeah, so we are taking advantage of the opportunity for a lazy day. We are snuggled into the blankets. But I came across an article that really just got my juices flowing. I just got so excited about it. And right away was like, I just feel like I need to get this out to the world. Feeling called to, need to do it. So it's really been amazing me how much science and technology has been evolving and how quickly. It's like as we develop science and technology, that then gives us the new tools to develop much more rapidly. One of the things that I used to like to talk about when I did Grand Canyon tours is when you consider, Columbus sailed the ocean blue 1492, just to use that as a frame of reference of what technology was back then. Then it took us almost 400 more years before we finally discovered the Grand Canyon, which was in 1869. Then 70 years after that, 70 years. It took us 400 years to find the canyon. 70 years later, we developed the technology to shoot satellites into outer space. And now today, and really for about 15 years now, we've been able to use that technology from the satellites to view photos on these tiny little devices in our pockets. It's just amazing when you consider how rapidly technology has changed in more modern times. So with that, obviously I'm getting excited because I've got notes here, so hopefully I don't get too off track. So the world of quantum physics seems like it's so outlandish. So many people don't even try to begin to understand it. And I've been, for about a year and a half now, kind of nerding out on it. I just think it's fascinating and it's just mind-blowing. Nothing in the quantum world works the way we think that it should. And it really stumps scientists. But it's more and more becoming relevant. They're developing quantum computing right now. And when you consider with all of the different pillars of technology that we've got rocking right now with AI and robotics and nanotechnology, you throw quantum technology into the mix and we're going to see technology expand way faster than we could even dream of right now. I'm sure of it. But how does this actually matter to you today? So I'm going to kind of put together the steps of my understanding of quantum physics and then kind of tie it all together with this article that I just read yesterday on a scientific paper. So the article was about a scientific paper that was published March 28th. So this is brand new cutting edge quantum science. So first of all, the very basics is the observer effect. Essentially,
what I'm going to do after is break it down how it matters to you in real life.
So essentially, the quantum particles, which is atoms and smaller, the protons and electrons that's rotate around the atoms. We're talking about the smallest things that we have the technology to detect today. So years ago, I'm sure it was Einstein time. We're talking 1930s. They're studying electrons and atoms and protons. And what they were finding is that, to summarize it, when we are allowing these particles to do whatever they want, they're particles, mind you, which means mass. They're an object. When we are just letting them do what they want and we're detecting what they do, they behave like water would or like light would. So they behave like waves. or like they're creating an interrupted ripple effect, essentially, in the experiment that's most famous, the double-slit experiment. Definitely check it out if you need to wrap your brain around this a little bit more. But when we're trying to like, okay, understand what's making these objects, these tangible mattered particles, act like water or light, and so we start monitoring it to see why it's doing that, it now starts behaving like we would expect it to, like matter. And then when we retract our monitoring and just pay attention to the outcome, it then again creates the patterns like water or light, which has led us to believe, and they've been able to redo this experiment over and over and over again, led us to believe or understand that these particles actually change their behavior based on whether or not somebody is watching them or paying attention to them. Did you want to go further in that?
No, you can
Okay.
keep going.
So that I'm going to slide into the next property is entanglement. So what they've done is taken protons, divided them in half, and then sent them through fiber optic cable 7 miles in either direction. So they're 14 miles apart. And this proton over here, they tickle it or activate it in some way.
Vibrate
whatever. And the other particle 7 miles away, the other proton reacts the same way this first proton was. So even though they're 7 miles away from one another, somehow they know what the other one is doing. They're of the same source, they're created from the same basis, and they're both reacting the same exact way, not over time, but instantaneously. Like in the exact moment this first particle is acting.
As fast as a text.
It's faster. I mean, we're talking the speed of light. Like, it's just incomprehensible. So this is the kind of properties they've been trying to harness in technology now. Now, I'm going to change the subject just a tiny little bit and go into epigenetics.
Well, first go back, because the analogy of the entanglement is like when twins, they know when something's going on with each other. It's same with a mother and a baby.
Absolutely,
when they're 800 miles away, that mother knows something happens to that child. Or 500,000 miles away, it doesn't really matter. That's how you can look at entanglement.
Yeah. So then we got epigenetics, right? So epigenetics is the new science of genetics. So again, as our technology has grown and developed, we've been able to relook at things that we have created our beliefs in the past and realize that our first assumptions or our first theories weren't necessarily correct. So we've all kind of grown up believing that what genes you were born with were the genes that you have. If your family has a tendency to have heart disease or diabetes, your gene expression is going to unfortunately predispose you to have those diseases.
Defects.
Yes. What we're learning now is that gene expression is actually, it's an on and off switch. They're not predisposed to anything. They're either on or they're off. And those switches are triggered based on multiple factors, but one being your diet, one being your environmental conditions, what kind of stresses are in your environment.
Lifestyles.
Whether it's pollution or like high stress, like lifestyle, like he's saying, you have a high stress at work and whatnot. Also your beliefs. And science is showing and has been showing, it's something we've known actually. Some ancient texts, or not ancient, but older texts, older science is saying that our programming begins from 3 months. Last 3 months in the womb.
Before the womb.
Yeah, the last 3 months in the womb. So you're 6 months old in the womb until you're 7 years old. Your mind is in what we call a theta state, which is the state of your mind, which is your hypnotic state, or the between waking and sleeping. So
It's slow. Your brain's moving really slow.
And what that is that your brain's actually on active record. You're actually just actively recording everything that you witness, every interaction with other humans, everything you're told, everything you overhear. It just goes in here because you need to learn.
That's your subconscious mind doing that.
Absolutely.
Not your conscious mind, your subconscious mind. Because kids don't talk and stuff. That's all in their conscious mind. This is their subconscious mind. So they are just really recording faster than most computers.
Yes, yeah. And to learn how to behave in society, to learn how to be a human in society. That's what the purpose of this is to rapidly gain all the knowledge that they need to be a part of it. So Now, your subconscious mind is 95% of your entire brain power. 95% of your brain is essentially this programming from when before you were born until you were 7 years old. 95% of your brain is acting on these automatic behaviors, your programming, which a lot of people are beginning to awaken. That's your past trauma, but this includes your genetics. You've been told, or you've understood, my grandmother had diabetes, my grandfather had diabetes, my father had diabetes, my uncles had diabetes, I'm probably going to have diabetes based on your programming. So in turn, your genes turn on the switches to cause diabetes, essentially. That's what science is proving right now. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. Now, take that and slide into this new study. So there is this, it's actually tryptophan. It's a protein amino acid. It's the same thing that you've heard of. Like when you get in the turkey on Thanksgiving and you fall asleep. It's what, yeah.
But usually caused by overeating.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's that. But it's actually in every single cell in every single living being, down to the smallest bacteria to
Trees.
The largest tree on the planet.
Mountains,
everything.
rocks.
Every one of our cells has this protein in it. And what they're finding is this tryptophan actually facilitates for the structures within your cell. So cell to cell actually talks to each other pretty slowly. But
snail mail.
Yeah, but the structures within your cell are actually, with this tryptophan, speaking to one another at the speed of light. Like insanely fast, like quantum fast, like literally the instant that the one part of your cell knows that something's going on, the other part of your cell knows it at the same time. Same thing as these entangled protons. Like, it is just instantaneously fast. And so what they're finding, originally, all of the quantum experiments that they've been trying to duplicate in labs, they've only been able to do at insanely
it was like
controlled
minus
environments.
300 below zero.
Yeah, I think it was even colder than that, minus 400 degrees. Yeah. And super sterile environments and, doing crazy things. So they didn't believe, and that's where the science has had the hard time bridging the gap in the quantum physics and how it can be relatable in biology, because they didn't think the quantum world would work in the warm, squishy, wet environment that is living things. And now that they're seeing that quantum science, now that we have the technology to measure it, they're seeing that quantum science is happening. We're having the same erratic and crazy, weird phenomenons happening on a biological level within our cells. It's just mind-blowing when you start to think of the implications of what this can have in life. So if you consider observer effect and entanglement, like James said, have you ever had the experience? I mean, so many people have either had the experience or know somebody who has, where you thought about somebody, you really miss them, you love them, and then they call you, or you get news about them. Something comes in your circle, or you have that bad feeling, something bad's about to happen, and so you end up not doing something that you were going to do, and you find out later that it could have saved your life. All of us have heard these crazy stories where it makes the hair on your arm stand up, gives you the goosebumps. That's, I think, entanglement. That's you knowing without knowing that something's going to happen. Intuition, all of that. So you combine, the fact that we've got this quantumness going on in our body, I feel like it begins to point to that the possibilities are endless. So the kind of analogy, I guess, that I kind of want to build around it, I especially in the past, I used to be a really big nerd. I used to love the Sims games. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a video game where you essentially create yourself an avatar and then you build a life for this avatar. They have a family, they have kids, you build them a house, they have a job, they have goals that they need to achieve, and you're trying to balance out them doing all of these different things while doing the things that they love, because they need to do the things that they love to make them happy. And you can actually get cheat codes for these games so that they have unlimited money and all of this stuff. And I can't help but think of life in kind of that same simulation, or that's using that as an analogy. So when you don't actively play the game, but the game is on, that character continues to do things. Your avatar continues to go do things. And what you'll end up finding is you leave, you go make dinner, and you come back and your avatar has peed themselves. They're almost dead from exhaustion. They've missed 2 days worth of work. Their relationships are starting to fail. Everything's starting to fall apart in their life. And then you pick up the controller and you take over and you allow you improve the life. They start getting their shit together, essentially, and they start you're able to control and line things out and prioritize and schedule and make sure everything works together. Throw in some of those cheat codes, make everything easier. So what all of this quantum thing makes me believe is, if our thoughts or our deep-seated beliefs, our conscious awareness, our conscious beliefs affect the world on a quantum level at the very least, and what if we were to take that observer effect and we were to intentionally use it to take control and start actively encouraging and changing and altering and inspired action orienting our life? I don't know. It's really super exciting. Like, the more I learn and the deeper I dive into this quantum world, the more excited I get about it. What do you feel?
Well, this is what I'm going to go, and she said a lot right there. So it's hard.
Really excited.
It's hard to keep up. But in a nutshell, this is what I really think, and what's really going on here, and what the point we're trying to make in life. So we got the observer effect, and then you got the entanglement. And then then you have the epigenetics. That's the rewriting of technology. So at the end, we're saying we can improve our life by using quantum physics or quantum entanglement, whatever you want to call it, quantum function. Because, okay, the big joke is, how do we change those beliefs that are running our life? Because them beliefs right now, they're running your life. Mm-hmm. If you're just doing the same thing, you get to the same spot and you can't jump. Well, me and Cara now are going on 15 years of hanging out together. And we started way down where we were. With the
Newtonian physics mindset that you have to put action and energy and focus into changing anything.
And we're just working jobs, not nowhere jobs. We're making plenty of money. We're doing stuff. We're having fun, but not fun. At the same time. And we're working 50, 60 hours a week. But to get back to it, that's not where I was going with it. Since 15 years, we've been moving toward trying to find, and what I think of it as, is your right vibration for you. And it's through quantum that you're going to find that. And it's like the punch is, how do you reprogram yourself to get out of the ditch you're in? And there's a lot of ways to do it. You can go and read self-help books, but they even nowadays sell programs that you listen to just before bed or just waking up when you're in that theta stage to reboot your brain. And that's the direction we're going in, because we're trying to move forward. We're trying to use this information. Okay, we know kids born 3 months in the womb, all the way to 7 years old, they're just getting these slow moving, their brain's just recording everything, learning from the parents, the grandparents, schools, whatever, their environment. They're learning from their environment. Then they get out into society. Well, things have changed, especially since I grew up, so my beliefs are really not where they should be, basically. So then we want to rewire, and what it's showing us, we can actually rewire ourselves. Mm-hmm. And we can, it's the power or the law of attraction. What you think in your mind is what is going to happen if you think it clear enough. So
Yeah, absolutely. What you put out in the universe, that's again, that's another law of the quantum world. What you put out there
Has to come
comes
back
in.
to you.
It's really mind blowing. So I mean, ultimately, what we're doing here is connecting the spiritual with the science. But it's really exciting to me because I'm a person who I'm always doubting. I have anybody who knows me personally, I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm a very emotional person. If I watch a TV show that's gory, I viscerally feel it. I can't watch scary things. I can't watch things that have too much drama in it because I feel the emotions of it. I watch something that is emotional and I'm bawling my eyes out, snot coming out my nose, the whole 9 yards. I'm highly sensitive to the environment around me, and I've always just tried to quash that down. And one of the things that I'm most afraid of is being wrong about all of this and being wrong about where we're going in this direction. And even though I'm surrounded by a lot of really magical people, we have some really incredible people and stories, and you guys definitely, I'm going to keep putting it out there. Our book's coming out at the end of May, Together We Rise. Please buy the book because it's really going to be inspiring.
A lot of inspiring
stories. There's no way you're going to be able to put down that book and it not change your life. However, even though I'm surrounded by people like this, you still want to make sure that you're grounded. It's I guess it's hard when you've been programmed the way that we're programmed in today's society, that you're only going to get to where you want to be if you work hard, and only select few get to go to the top, and all of these things that we're programmed in our mind. You're only valuable if you work hard, and
got to be the best baseball player.
whatever it is, yeah.
It's something. Everybody's got something.
We all got a lot of somethings, and so trying to get past that programming, you always want to keep one foot grounded to be sure that you're not going too far off into crazy land and that you're just going to completely ruin your life and destroy everything that you know and love because you went off on a whim. I think we're all afraid of doing that, so it's hard to make the leap. So I like going back to quantum science because every time a new study comes out, it's like proving all of this that much more. And that's, I guess, why I'm so amped up about it and wanting to bring it to you guys, because I want you to get curious. I want you to understand that we're not just hippies that have lost our mind. We are really tangibly, it's not everything's coming to fruition the way that we really would like to see it right this second, but we know it's because we have the hard work right now of beating those limiting beliefs. Both of us have the belief that you can't be successful unless you work 80 hours a week and are productive every hour of your day and have a conventional job. So all of these things we're
overcoming those things.
Yeah, we're changing our limiting beliefs. We're working on all of that right now. And I guess that's the journey, right?
And it's right. And it's not like what you think. We're not going out there working 100 hours a week. We're actually trying to change our mind.
Yes.
It's in your mind.
Yeah. Which is
it's like a video game. You're playing a video game, and man, we all suck at playing.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest work. I think so many of us would rather, because it seems easier, put all of our focus and energy into a job and stay busy so we don't ever have to feel, because feeling hurts. It's hard. It sucks. But I can't even express, I have changed significantly as a person, at least on the inside, since that car accident. I feel like I've grown immensely. I can't even express. It's been really, really incredible experience. And what I'm finding is moment to moment, day by day, I have become happier and happier and happier with less, quote unquote. But in all reality, it's more, because I'm feeling more fulfilled. I'm more positive. I'm not beating myself up as much. I'm more patient in moments where in the past, maybe James behaved in a certain way that I didn't find appealing to me, and I would snap at him, which is ridiculous and outrageous. Saying that out loud just sounds so narcissistic and ridiculous. But that's how it was. And now it's like I don't even notice the things that used to bother me anymore. And that's just a small example of changes that I think a lot of people, especially married couples or people with kids and stuff, can relate to. Is you become so at peace with yourself and you spend more time living each moment to moment that the overall picture is less stressful. Like, you still hope and you still dream and you're still working towards an ultimate goal. I mean, we're still putting out these recordings. We're still planning. We're still, moving things in the backgrounds to make things happen for us. But it just doesn't feel like with such a iron grip urgency, I guess the best way to say it. Like, I don't know. And we're not all the way there yet. There's still fear attached and there's still worry. But it's not what it used to be.
Really, people should pay more attention to the quantum world and really energy world, the vibration world, and really start connecting the dots.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And if you're missing out on that, you really got to get on board, because most people upbringing, you're going to get stuck in this rut.
Yeah.
And the way out, you're dreaming about the way out. You've put it out there. I think one of the books said that, you send in rockets of desire in the world, and then you get stuck in your inner brain, whatever you want to call it. You're really the back of your brain where your computer is, and you get stuck there because you have all these limiting beliefs, and you really got to start by clearing those limited beliefs and then changing them to believe in what you want to believe. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to have a different, probably a limiting belief, or
and
a whole bunch of different limiting beliefs. But you can start there, and what we're learning is it can be changed. We know that through entanglement. We know that through the observer effect. And then, like Cara said, that you can use the analogy of that game. And when I think of that, when she uses that, it just makes me laugh.
I feel like it's so true. Like, this is a simulation. Quantum physics proves that everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. What we experience in this 3D reality is just denser vibration. This is like proven science. This is the latest, newest quantum science.
And now they know it can move as fast as light.
And so
in warm temperatures.
it's just mind-blowing.
Read the article, it just came out.
When you start to think about the world that way and start to realize that everything that seems tangible to us, it just seems so real because we believe it's so real. It's trying to alter those beliefs and manipulate the way that you think, so that you realize that this really is a video game. We're living in a hologram, and everything feels really, really, really real, but there's so much more to this entire universe that we can't think or see or experience. I mean, just one small example, and then we'll go ahead and close it up. Of the light spectrum, we can only see this tiny portion of all of the light spectrum that's available. Ravens that look black and they're like a little bit iridescent, they're actually multicolored. Based on what technology we have that can measure it, they are vibrantly colored, like insane, like parrots. But we can't see those colors. We're just not capable of doing it in the technology that our body contains. So that's just one little way of how we're unable to experience this universe in its fullest. So I hope this inspires you guys. It's got me obviously all over the place and overly excited. If you guys have any questions, please email us, join@kerouacscruising.com.
It's a science.
It's science.
Mixing with a little weirdo.
If you want to talk to us a little bit about it, even if you want to challenge us on it, we'd love to have you on the podcast. You check out our website, kerouacscruising.com, and fill out the form, and we'll set up a time to chat with you. We appreciate you guys watching.
Talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.